Bonjour and welcome to the studio. Today we're going to kick off a series of videos where we're going to be doing a build along with the Knifetalk podcast, where we're going to make a simple bushcraft video. In this first video in the series, we're going to be talking about the design of the knife using something called Knifeprint.com. So grab yourself a computer and let's see what we can build.
Okay, so there are a bunch of ways to design a knife on a computer with various software. So in the past, I've used Inkscape, Fusion 360, SketchUp, and so on. But we're going to try something new today. So I'm going to use something called Knifeprint.com. And the great thing about this is it's done in a browser, so there's nothing to download at all. So unfortunately, we are limited to the browsers that we can use. So we need to use Google Chrome because it uses some of the advanced features of Google Chrome. So we head on over to knifeprint.com. Now, I've already got a login, but if you haven't got a login, you can just go to, set up a new account and so on. But I've already got one here. So if you haven't got one, you can go to don't have an account, sign up. Completely free. You can use the service for free, but there is also a pro account, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and also about a discount, which you can use for that. So let me just log in here. So this has taken me straight to the editor of the last thing that I was doing. We get a bunch of sort of help screens coming up here, so we can, it says about the certain tools, what we can do with those tools and how to use them, and we can always opt to say not show again. So this is just something that I was playing with. So let me just go to my projects. So these are a bunch of projects that I've designed already. There are also a bunch of template projects. So let's just have a look at some of them. So there's some hunting knives, some skinners, some chef knives, some Bowie knives. So let's just pull open one of these chef knives here to click to load. And you can see, again, we're getting our help screens here. So I'm just going to dismiss this. So here we have a chef knife, which has already been designed as a template. If we use our select tool here, we can see the various different nodes. And again, the select tool is telling us what we can do there. I don't want to see that again, so I'm just going to dismiss that. But here we can see the various different nodes, and these are connecting points of the lines. So any sort of CAD program will work on this principle, specifically 2D CAD stuff, which is what we're doing here. We will have these nodes, which are connecting points, and you can click on any of these, and we can make an adjustment. So, for example, if we wanted the blade to be longer, we can just drag. And you may need to do some amendments there with regards to the curves, that kind of thing. So any curves, you'll see a handle, and you can pull on these handles and make them longer, and you can do all sorts of different things there. Let's say, for example, we wanted to make it a bit higher, the heel a bit longer. We could pull the heel down, and we can see what will happen then. And it is a case of playing with these things, and you can get your curves the way you want them and so on. So that's taking a template that already exists. Now the beauty of Knifeprint.com is that even though it's a 2D program, they have this 3D preview, which is great. So you can see exactly how that would look. So they're in a stainless steel, and we've got various Dharma steels, that kind of thing. You can pick the thickness of the steel. It's pretty cool to have a play around and see what we're doing. So, for example, this would be a full tang knife, and we can see the pinholes, that kind of thing. Let's go to a different project. So, pick up something that doesn't really have many holes in it. Let's say, look at the skinners here. Let's look at the skinner here. So I'm going to click this in, load this. So you've already got one hole there, which I presumably would be for a lanyard. But let's say we want to drill some pinholes. So we can go to the drill here. We can literally draw it out, and it's shown us the size there in centimeters. So let's put something roughly in size-wise, and we can then drag that around to where we want it to be. Now up here, we can actually change the size. So let's say we wanted a 1 centimeter. It's simply a 1.0. It's all done in centimeters, as you can see there. And that'll resize for you, and then we can move it. If we wanted 2, it's as simple as we could just double click and go to copy, paste. And let me just click on the tool. We can go to copy, and we can paste another one in, just like that. And you can see I've got it's sort of snapping to various lines where it's quite intelligent, thinking where you'd want that to be. You can turn these snaps off just at the top here, so you can put it exactly where you want it. And again, it's going to show the measurements between different items. Just really nice. And again, we can then have a look at the 3D preview, how that would look with the holes. So that's working on one of the templates that we already have. So if we go to K, so K here, which is the Knifeprint logo, basically gives us our options. So let's go to a new project. Let's say we wanted to design something from fresh. We've got our various tools here. So let's start with our select tool. And we can start by making these lines and nodes. So a very generic shape I'll do here, something very basic. So I'm going to make that would be the handle. We're then going to start sloping down to a point. I'd want a couple of variations there on the actual blade. A straight point, maybe we'll come down for a handle, and we'll have a handle that way. So just by double clicking, it'll sort of form that shape. And you can see these nodes that we have. So these nodes, again, we can change them, and we can sort of amend things a bit. But that's pretty boring. That's all very much straight lines. So let's look at the curve of the blade here. Obviously, that wouldn't be effective the way it is. So if we click on the node that we want to change, and we've got a bunch of ways of changing that curve. So symmetric handles, there's separate handles, there's all various options here. There is an amazing learning center here on Knifeprint, which I'll talk about in just a second, where there's videos on each of these tools, and it explains exactly how to use these tools. So let's start with the symmetric handles. So you can see we're starting to make a curve there now, which is what we'd want. Double click and you're done, or click away and you're done. That one there, let's try the other one, which is separate handles. So you can see what we're doing there. We're making a slight curve, and we're just starting to make this feel a bit more like a knife. And you may want to move these up and down as you please. I'm doing this very quickly just to show you how the tools work. I mean, that one there, we'd probably want to make that transition a bit smoother, like so. There's one there which we've messed up. But basically, we can take all of these nodes, and we can do what you can do, get some crazy shapes, obviously. But obviously, for a knife, there's certain shapes that we'd want. So let's just see what we can do here. Bring that back down. I'm clicking around these nodes here, and I'm just playing with it to get what we want. Now I want a gentle gentle curve. That's not working. So what we can do is delete that node. So click the node and then click delete, and that'll disappear. So that just shows how we can go about changing things. And again, let's make this nice and smooth in here, like so. No, that's not what I want. So you can always go back and undo. And there's a number of undos. So it's not just the last thing you've done. It can be a bunch of things. So let's go back to our nodes. Let's say we want that one. And let's just smooth that one out a little bit. There we go. So we're starting to get somewhere with the shape of a knife. And you can obviously play around this until your heart's content with what you want. Now let's say we want to see where a bevel would be. We can go to our Bezier tool here. Let's say our bevel's going to be sort of here, and we want it going straight across. There we go. We can see how bevel would be. Some holes for pins. Again, we'll just drag these to where we want them. Not to worry about the size so much at the moment, because then we can go up and we can say precisely how big we want these. So let's say we were using Corby bolts, and we had a 0.46mm shaft. I'd normally put in 0.47, so we've got some clearance, and we can see we've got the exact size we want there. Let's say we want 2, we can go to copy and paste another one in, knowing that's exactly the same dimensions. So there's an example of a very, very basic knife, and we can play around that until we get exactly what we want. And again, we can look at the 3D preview of how that would look. It's very clever because it's not showing the bevels, because it's only showing the outsides. So that is how our template would look, and it's clever enough to know what the where the drill points would be as well. So what we can do from there, we can save it as something new, as a new template for us. We can export it, which is really handy. So we can export that now as a PDF. So we can print that to paper, then transfer that to steel and cut out our blank, or as a PNG, or as a DXF file. So DXF files are used by laser cutters, water jet cutters, that kind of thing, because it'll have all your dimensions in the file. But the great thing about Knifeprint is that we can actually print to steel. So let's have a look. So if we go to our projects, where's the knife we were just making there? So there's the knife we were just making. Let's click on that. And we can click, well, we can do a number of things here, actually. So we can say where we want to store this in our public library. We can share this directly. So I've just copied that to my clipboard so I could share that link with somebody else, and when they open that up, they'd see exactly what I've just made. So you can have a sort of collaborative approach to making things. But the great thing about this is you can go to Get Quote, and this will give us a quote to cut out the knife in steel, which is fantastic. So that's the exact design that we have. You can see in 3D and so on as well. You can pick the steel that you want, and these are the steels that they have at the moment in different thicknesses. And I know that even though they're based in Europe, they do have a partner in the US as well. So they'll give you a price for cutting that out and shipping to you. So here's an example of something here. Buy 2 or more, you save. So if we wanted 1 unit, and it's saying they're going to give us 1 free as well, that would cost us €28, and we can just go to add to cart, and we can purchase that. And I think it's about 7 to 10 days you're going to get your blanks through to the post. So let's talk about the knife that I've been designing for the build along for the Knifetalk podcast. So if I go to my projects here, I'm just trying to find it in the bunch that I've got. So we go to my projects here, and it's this one here. So it's a relatively simple bushcraft knife. You can see I've set this to public. We can make things private as well if you have a pro account, so nobody else can see your designs. You can share your designs there and store your designs rather. But let's load the project and let's have a look. So I've designed this around a 4mm 01 steel, so it's going to be quite thick. You can see if I have a look at these, there's a measurement tool here. If we have a look at these holes, they're 0.47 centimeters, so 4.7 millimeters, which are perfect for Corby bolts. You can see the where I want the bevel to be drawn. So I think this will just be a really nice thing for us to build as a build along. So I'm going to do this in 2 ways. So first of all, I'm going to print this out as a paper template, which I can go to, and I can go to export, and I can export that as a PDF, which will be downloaded, which I can then print off on my normal office printer, paste that to some steel and cut out that way. But I'm also going to order one from Knifeprint, and they'll cut it out for me exactly to dimensions, and they'll send it in the post. And we can see here they come well wrapped. They're just cut very cleanly, and they're just ready for heat treat and then on for grinding. So let's go to projects, and we'll load it from here. So where are we? That was the one. So we can go to Get Quote, and it would be great to see as many people as we can build along with this knife. So it's worldwide for me because I'm not in the US. I've built this around 01 4mm, and you can see how it's going to look up there, both in 2D and 3D. Now we have a special discount for anybody who wants to do this build along, and if they want to get a laser cut version of this blade, we can do that. So if we go to add to cart, and you can see it's buy one get one free as well. So if we head on over to our cart and go to checkout, put in your details. If you then put in a Knifetalk BA, all in caps, once you've filled out your sort of shipping details over this side. If you put in Knifetalk BA, it will actually say that there is a 0 discount. But once you confirm the order, they will send you an invoice via PayPal, and it will have 35% off that price. So it's very, very cheap to get one of these. And the more people we can get building along with this project, the better, because I think we'd be able to see some nice variations on it. So yeah, jump in, open up this file. The link to this file will be in the description. It'd be great to see some variations on this. And yeah, get printing. So either print to paper or print via Knifeprint and get a blank ready for next week's stage, which is going to be heat treat. So once we're on the projects page, I do actually want to talk to you about the Learning Center as well, which is so handy. So there's a beginner course and an advanced course, all completely free to use, and they'll show you the fundamentals of 2D CAD and using Knifeprint specifically. And it's great. They're narrated very well. They break things down into interfaces, editor settings, and they actually talk you through designing in a hunter knife, which we can see here. Really nice thing to be able to learn for free. And it's a service which I think could really benefit a lot of people, because I think if you're designing on screen, you maybe tend to think about the knives a little bit different. So it's definitely worth doing that. So take a look at the Learning Center as well. And I also want to talk to you about the pro accounts. So it's completely free to start using the service. You can take one of the templates and amend them and create the kind of knife that you want to be making. But there is also a pro account as well, and you can get a discount if you use the promo code Knifetalk, all in caps. That's a 10% discount. But what you can do with the pro account is that you can start projects from fresh, like I've just done. You can have unlimited projects. There's just so many things you can do. There's promos on the blanks that you order. So just check it out. Sign up for a free account. Have a play around. And then maybe the pro account will suit you. But it's definitely worth checking out. So again, that's knifeprint.com. And if you look in the description, we will then have the link to the knife that we've just designed, or the knife of the Buildalong rather, which is this knife here. Okay, thank you for listening.